The moment I gave him that glass of water, I signed my soul away to the devil himself. Those were the words she would whisper to herself every single night for the rest of her life. But here's what she didn't know in that moment. When she opened her door to a bleeding stranger in the dark, she wasn't just saving a man's life. She was walking straight into a world where love and death danced together, where one wrong move could end everything, where the most dangerous man in the entire city would fall to his knees for a woman carrying another man's child. This is not just a story. This is about how one act of kindness can change everything. How a woman who lost everything found something she never knew she needed. And how the most feared man in the underworld discovered the one thing he could never control, his own heart. Before we dive into this journey, I need you to do something. Head over to the comment section right now and comment where you're watching from. Are you in Texas? California? New York? Maybe you're watching from across the world? Drop your location below. Let's see how far this story reaches. Because what you're about to hear, it's going to stay with you long after you finish listening. Now let me take you back to where it all began. To a cold October night. To a woman who had nothing left to lose. And to a man who was running out of time. The farmhouse sat at the edge of nowhere, 5 miles from the nearest town, surrounded by empty fields that stretched as far as the eye could see. It was the kind of place people went to disappear. And that's exactly what she needed. To disappear. Her name was Autumn. Autumn Hayes. 28 years old. 6 months pregnant. And completely alone in this world. The farmhouse wasn't much. Peeling paint. Creaking floors. A roof that leaked when the wind blew too hard. But it was hers. Well, not really hers. She was renting it for almost nothing from an old man in town who felt sorry for her. Everyone in town felt sorry for her. Poor Autumn Hayes. Lost her husband in a car accident just 3 months after their wedding. Found out she was pregnant 2 weeks after he died. No family. No money. Just a baby on the way and a future that looked darker than the night sky. But Autumn didn't want pity. She wanted peace. She spent her days working at the town diner, serving coffee and eggs to farmers and truck drivers, smiling even when her feet ached and her back screamed, saving every penny she could for when the baby came. And at night, she came home to this empty house, made herself dinner for one, sat in the old rocking chair by the window, and talked to her belly. "Just you and me," she would whisper, rubbing small circles over her swollen stomach. "Just you and me against the world, little one." On this particular night, October 17th, Autumn was exhausted. It had been a long shift at the diner. Her ankles were swollen. Her lower back felt like someone had taken a hammer to it. All she wanted was to take a warm bath and fall into bed. She was in her nightgown, hair pulled up in a messy bun, about to turn off the lights, when she heard it point 3 loud knocks. Desperate. Urgent. Autumn froze. Nobody came out here. Nobody even knew she lived here except the landlord and a few people from the diner. She moved to the window, carefully pulled back the curtain just an inch, and her blood ran cold. There was a man at her door. A tall man. Broad shoulders. Dark clothes. And even from here, even in the darkness, she could see it. Blood. So much blood. He was leaning against her doorframe, one hand pressed against his side, the other banging weakly on her door. "Please." His voice was rough, deep, filled with pain. "Please, I need help." Every instinct in Autumn's body screamed at her to run, to hide, to call the police. This was how horror movies started. A woman alone, a stranger at the door. Nothing good could come from this. But then, the man's knees buckled. He started to collapse. And Autumn saw his face in the moonlight. He was young, maybe 30, maybe a little older. Dark hair falling over his eyes. A strong jaw. And an expression that wasn't angry or violent. It was desperate. He was dying. "Please." He whispered again. "Water, just water." And in that moment, Autumn made a choice. Maybe it was the wrong choice. Maybe it was the stupidest thing she'd ever done. But standing there, 6 months pregnant, alone in the world. She knew what it felt like to need help and have nowhere to turn. She unlocked the door. The man nearly fell through the doorway. Autumn caught him, or tried to. He was heavy, all muscle and weight. She helped him stumble to the couch. Up close, she could see the wound. A deep gash in his side, bleeding through his black shirt. His face was pale, sweating. He was losing too much blood. "I'm calling an ambulance," Autumn said, moving toward the phone. "No." His hand shot out, grabbed her wrist. Not hard, but firm. His eyes locked onto hers. They were dark, almost black, and filled with something that made her stomach flip. "No hospitals. No police. You're going to die if..." "I won't. Just water. And a first aid kit if you have one." Autumn swallowed hard. "Who are you?" "Someone you don't want to know." Are you in trouble with the law?" He let out a sound that might have been a laugh. "The law is the least of my problems." She should have pushed him out the door. Should have called for help anyway. But something in his eyes, something in the way he looked at her, made her stay. "I have a first aid kit," she said quietly, "and I can get you water. But after that, you need to leave." He nodded. "After that, I'll be gone. You'll never see me again." Autumn moved quickly. She filled a glass with cold water from the kitchen, grabbed the first aid kit from under the bathroom sink. Her hands were shaking the entire time. When she returned, the man had leaned back against the couch. His eyes were closed. For a terrible moment, she thought he was dead. Then he opened his eyes, looked at her, and something passed between them. Something neither of them could name. "Here." She handed him the water. He took it with a shaking hand, drank deeply, like a man who'd been lost in the desert. When he finished, he closed his eyes again. "Thank you," he whispered. 2 simple words. But the way he said them, it was like he'd never thanked anyone for anything in his entire life. Autumn opened the first aid kit. "I'm going to need to clean that wound." "I can do it myself." "No, you can't. You can barely sit up." He opened his eyes again, studied her face. "You're not afraid of me." "I'm terrified of you," she said honestly. "But you're bleeding on my couch, so we can deal with fear later." For the first time, the corner of his mouth twitched. Almost a smile. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated. "Autumn." He shook his head. "You're vulnerable. You're alone. You're confusing gratitude with..." "Don't." She cut him off. "Don't tell me what I'm feeling. I'm not some fragile thing that doesn't know her own mind. I'm a grown woman, and I know the difference between gratitude and..." She swallowed hard. "And whatever this is." The air between them crackled. Silas took a step toward her, then another, until they were inches apart. "If I touch you," he said, voice low and rough, "I won't be able to stop. I won't be able to walk away." Her breath caught. "Then don't walk away." For one endless moment, they stood there, balanced on the edge of something that would change everything. Then Silas reached out, cupped her face with both hands, and kissed her. It wasn't a gentle kiss. It was desperate, hungry, like 2 people drowning and finding air. Autumn's hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer. Silas's arms wrapped around her carefully, mindful of her belly, holding her like she was the most precious thing in the world. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Silas pressed his forehead to hers. "This is a mistake," he whispered. "I know. We can't do this. I know. I'm going to get you hurt. I know." She looked up at him. "I know all of that. And I don't care." He laughed. A broken sound. "You should care." "Well, I don't." She touched his face. "For the first time since my husband died, I feel alive. You make me feel alive, Silas." His eyes closed, like her words caused him physical pain. "We need to pack," he said finally. "We need to go." "Okay." But neither of them moved. They stayed there, holding each other, knowing that the moment they let go, reality would come crashing back in. They packed quickly. Silas loaded the SUV, checked his weapons, made phone calls in low, tense voices. Autumn gathered her things, her heart pounding the entire time. They were about to leave when Silas's phone rang. He looked at the screen. His face went white. What? Autumn asked. What is it? Vincent. He's calling me directly. Don't answer it. I have to. If I don't, he'll know something's wrong. He answered. Put it on speaker. Vincent. Silas. The voice on the other end was smooth, cultured, and absolutely terrifying. Where are you? Handling business. What kind of business? The kind that requires discretion. A pause. Then I'm disappointed, Silas. We've known each other for 20 years. And you're lying to me. Silas's jaw tightened. I'm not. You are. And do you know how I know? Because I had someone check that little town where you disappeared. And they found something very interesting. Autumn's blood ran cold. A pregnant widow, Vincent continued, who mysteriously stopped showing up for work at the diner, who emptied her bank account, who vanished the same night my men went looking for you. Silas closed his eyes. Now, I'm going to give you one chance to explain, Vincent said, his voice turning to ice. What is she to you? Nothing. She helped me when I was injured. I paid her. That's it. Then why is she missing? How should I know? Maybe she got scared when your goons showed up threatening her. My goons followed orders. Your orders. Which means you cared enough to give orders about her. A dark laugh. Oh, Silas. You've finally found yourself a weakness, haven't you? Vincent. Bring her in. Tomorrow. Noon. You know where. No. Silence. Heavy and dangerous. What did you say? I said no. She's not part of this. She doesn't know anything. Leave her alone. You don't give me orders anymore, Silas. Not when you've compromised the entire organization over some pregnant nobody. She's not nobody. The words came out before he could stop them. And Vincent laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, this is rich. This is absolutely perfect. The great Silas Kane, brought to his knees by a woman. His voice turned deadly. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to bring her to me. I'm going to verify she's not a threat. And then we'll discuss your future in this organization. And if I don't, then I'll find her myself. And when I do, well, let's just say I won't be as gentle as you've been. The line went dead. Silas stood there, frozen. His hand clenched around the phone so hard Autumn thought it might shatter. Silas, she whispered, we need to run. His voice was hollow. Right now. We need to disappear. He'll find us. Then we keep running. For how long? Forever. She moved in front of him, made him look at her. You can't run from your whole life. Not for me. Watch me. Silas. No. He gripped her shoulders. Listen to me. Vincent is not a man who forgives. He's not a man who forgets. If he gets his hands on you, if he even thinks you're a liability, he will kill you without blinking. And he'll make me watch. Tears streamed down her face. Then what do? We run. As far and as fast as we can. I have money. Fake identities. We can start over. Somewhere he'll never find us. What about your organization? Your family? I don't care. And he meant it. She could see it in his eyes. I don't care about any of it. Not anymore. The only thing I care about is keeping you safe. They threw everything into the car. Within 20 minutes, they were on the road, driving through the night. No destination. Just away. Silas drove like a man possessed, checking mirrors constantly, taking random turns, making sure they weren't followed. Autumn watched him, saw the tension in his jaw, the fear in his eyes, and she realized something. This man, this dangerous, powerful man, was terrified, not for himself, but for her. Silas, she said softly, not now. I need to focus. Silas, stop the car. What? No. We need to. Stop the car. Something in her voice made him listen. He pulled over to the side of the empty highway, turned off the engine. What is it? He asked. She unbuckled her seatbelt, turned to face him fully. I need you to listen to me. Really listen. Okay. He nodded. I've been running my whole life, she said quietly. Running from pain. From loss. From fear. After my husband died, I ran to that farmhouse. Tried to disappear. Tried to make myself small and invisible so life couldn't hurt me anymore. Autumn. But then you showed up. And everything changed. You made me feel things I thought I'd never feel again. You made me want to fight. To live. To be brave. She reached out. Took his hand. And now I see you running. Just like I was. And I can't let you do that. I'm running to protect you. No. You're running because you're scared. And I understand. I do. But Silas. She squeezed his hand. We can't live our lives running. Especially not now. Not with a baby coming. His eyes were shining. What are you saying? I'm saying we stop running. We face this. Together. If we face Vincent Hill, maybe. Maybe not. But if we run, we'll spend the rest of our lives looking over our shoulders. Never safe. Never free. Is that what you want for this baby? For me? For us? He was quiet for a long moment. Then, what's the alternative? We go back. We meet with Vincent. And we make him understand that I'm not a threat. That this, whatever this is between us, doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger. You don't know Vincent. No. But I know you. And I know that you didn't become the head of an organization by being weak or stupid. You're one of the most powerful men in the country. So use that power. Not to run, but to protect what matters. Silas stared at her. You're asking me to walk back into the lion's den. I'm asking you to trust yourself. Trust us. If this goes wrong, then we'll face it together. But Silas, I'd rather die fighting for a life I want than live forever running from one I don't. He leaned forward, pressed his forehead against hers. How did I get so lucky, he whispered. To find someone like you? I ask myself the same thing. They sat there, in the middle of nowhere, two broken people who'd found something whole in each other, and made a choice. To stop running. They drove back. It took 2 days. Silas made calls, arranged the meeting, set the terms. Neutral ground. No weapons. Just talk. Vincent agreed. Too easily. Which meant he had a plan. On the morning of the meeting, Autumn stood in front of the mirror. Her reflection looked back at her. Pale. Scared. 7 months pregnant now. Her belly round and obvious. But determined. Silas appeared behind her. You don't have to come. I can meet him alone. No. We do this together. Like we agreed. Autumn. Together, Silas. He nodded, wrapped his arms around her from behind, his hands resting on her belly. Whatever happens today, he said quietly, I want you to know, these past few weeks with you have been the best of my life. She covered his hands with hers. Mine too. If things go bad. They won't. But if they do, run. Don't look back. Just run. I'm not leaving you. Promise me. She turned in his arms, looked up at him. The only thing I promise is that we're in this together. Until the end, whatever that means. He kissed her, soft and desperate, like he was memorizing the feel of her. I love you, he whispered against her lips. Her heart stopped. What? I love you, Autumn. I know it's crazy. I know it's too soon. I know we're in the middle of a nightmare. But I love you. And I needed you to know. Tears filled her eyes. I love you too. They held each other. Knowing that in a few hours, everything could change, the meeting was at an old warehouse. Abandoned. Empty. Perfect for either a negotiation or an execution. Silas and Autumn arrived first. His hand never left hers. Stay behind me, he instructed. No matter what happens. Okay. They waited. 5 minutes. 10. Then cars. 3 black SUVs. Pulling up outside. Doors opened. Men in suits emerged. 12 of them. All armed despite the agreement. And in the center, Vincent. He was older than Autumn expected. Maybe 60. with silver hair and a face that looked like it had been carved from marble. Cold, hard, unforgiving. He walked into the warehouse like he owned it. His eyes locked on Silas, then shifted to Autumn. "So," Vincent said, "this is her." "This is her," Silas confirmed. "She doesn't look like much. Appearances can be deceiving." Vincent circled them slowly, like a predator. "You know, Silas, in all the years I've known you, I never thought you'd be stupid enough to fall for someone. We all have our weaknesses." Weakness. Vincent stopped. That's exactly the right word. Because that's what she is. A weakness. A vulnerability. A liability. She's also none of your business. Everything you do is my business. You are the head of this organization. Your decisions affect all of us. My personal life is separate. Vincent laughed. There is no separation. Not for people like us. Everything is connected. Your personal life, he made air quotes, could get us all killed. Or it could make me stronger. How? By giving our enemies leverage? By giving them something to use against you? Silas's jaw tightened. I can protect her. Can you? Vincent moved closer. Can you protect her when our rivals find out about her? When they realize the great Silas Kane has finally found something he cares about more than the Empire? Yes. Prove it. The words hung in the air. What? Silas asked carefully. Prove it. Prove that she won't be a liability. Prove that you can protect her. Prove that this attachment won't destroy everything we've built. How? Vincent smiled, and it was the most terrifying smile Autumn had ever seen. Marry her. Autumn's breath caught. Silas went very still. What? Marry her. Make her part of the family officially. Under our protection. Our rules. Our control. Vincent leaned in. If she's your wife, she becomes untouchable. Anyone who harms her harms the organization. It sends a message. But it also means she's bound to us. Forever. She can never leave. Never betray us. Never become a threat. You're insane, Autumn whispered. Vincent's cold eyes slid to her. Am I? Or am I offering you the only way out of this mess alive? You could run. Silas could protect you for a while. Maybe even a few years. But eventually, someone will find you. Someone will use you. Someone will kill you. He moved closer. Or you could accept my offer. Become part of this family. Be protected by the most powerful criminal organization on the East Coast. Your choice. Autumn looked at Silas. His face was pale, jaw clenched. And if we refuse, she asked. Vincent shrugged. Then I consider you an active threat to this organization. And threats are eliminated. The men around them shifted, hands moving toward concealed weapons. Autumn's hand instinctively went to her belly. Vincent, Silas said carefully, this is not how this is exactly how we do things. You know the rules, Silas. You wrote half of them yourself. No loose ends. No vulnerabilities. No mercy. Vincent pulled out a gun. Didn't point it at anyone. Just held it. Casually. So, what's it going to be? A wedding? Or a funeral? Time seemed to slow down. Autumn could hear her heartbeat in her ears. Could feel the baby moving inside her. Could see the gun in Vincent's hand. Silas stepped forward, placing himself between Autumn and Vincent. Put the gun away, Vincent. Answer the question first. This is not a negotiation. You're right. It's an ultimatum. Vincent's finger moved to the trigger. I'm getting old, Silas. Tired. I've given 30 years to this organization. And I'm not going to let some pregnant nobody bring it all crashing down because you caught feelings. She's not going to bring anything down. Prove it. Marry her. Today. Right now. Make it official. Or I end this problem permanently. Autumn stepped out from behind Silas. I'll do it, she said. Autumn, no. Silas turned to her. I'll marry him, she repeated, looking at Vincent. Today. Right now. Whatever you want. Just put the gun away. Please. Vincent studied her. Then slowly he lowered the weapon. Smart girl. He pulled out his phone. Made a call. Get me Judge Morrison. Tell him I need a favor. Immediately. He hung up. We'll do it here. In 1 hour. The judge will come. You'll sign the papers. And then you'll be family. He said the word family like it was a prison sentence, which Autumn realized it was they had 1 hour. Silas pulled Autumn to the far corner of the warehouse, as far from Vincent and his men as possible. We can still run, he whispered urgently. Right now. Out the back. I have a car waiting 2 blocks away. And how long do we run for? A month? A year? Until I have the baby in some motel on the side of the road? She shook her head. No. This is our way out. Our way to be safe. This isn't safety. This is a cage. Maybe. But it's a cage we'll be in together. She took his hands. Silas, I meant what I said. I love you. And if marrying you is what keeps us alive, then I'll do it. Without hesitation. You deserve better than this. Better than me. Better than a wedding in a warehouse with a gun to your head. I deserve to live. To raise this baby. To have a chance at happiness. And the only way I get any of that is with you. He pulled her close. Buried his face in her hair. I'm sorry. I'm so damn sorry for dragging you into this. You didn't drag me. I chose this. I chose you. She pulled back. Looked up at him. And I'd choose you again. Every single time. His eyes were shining with unshed tears. How are you so brave? Because I have something to fight for now. She placed his hand on her belly. 2 things, actually. They stayed like that, holding each other, until the judge arrived. Judge Morrison was in his 70s. Clearly terrified. Clearly doing this under duress. He set up a makeshift altar. Pulled out official documents. Didn't ask questions. Vincent gathered everyone around. His men. Silas. Autumn. Let's make this quick, Vincent said. I have dinner reservations. The judge cleared his throat. Began the ceremony. It was the strangest wedding in history. No flowers. No music. No guests who wanted to be there. Just 2 people in love, surrounded by criminals, getting married under threat of death. Do you, Silas Kane, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? Silas looked at Autumn. Really looked at her. And in his eyes, she saw everything. Love. Fear. Devotion. Desperation. I do, he said. Strong and clear. And do you, Autumn Hayes, take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? She thought about her life. About how she'd gotten here. About the choices that had led to this moment. And she realized she didn't regret any of it. I do, she whispered. Then by the power vested in me by the state, I now pronounce you husband and wife. No one clapped. No one cheered. Vincent just smiled that cold smile. Good. It's done. Now we can all move forward. Silas pulled Autumn close. Kissed her. And it wasn't for show. It wasn't for Vincent. It was for them. A promise. Sealed with a kiss in the worst possible circumstances. I've got you, he whispered against her lips. Always. Always, she whispered back. The papers were signed. The marriage was legal. Vincent seemed satisfied. Welcome to the family, Mrs. Kane, he said. I hope you survive it. Then he left. His men following. Leaving Silas and Autumn alone in the warehouse. They stood there. Married. Stunned. Alive. We did it, Autumn said. We did. What happens now? Now. Silas took a breath. Now we figure out how to live with this decision. They went back to the lake house. Autumn's new home. Their home now. That night, they consummated their marriage. Not out of obligation, but out of love, out of need, out of a desperate desire to feel connected after everything they'd been through. Afterward, Autumn lay in Silas's arms. Are you okay? He asked softly. I'm married to a mafia boss, she said. I'm part of a criminal empire. My life is completely insane. But I'm with you. So yes, I'm okay. He kissed the top of her head. I'm going to spend the rest of my life making this up to you. You don't have to make anything up. We're in this together. Remember? Together, he agreed. And for a few weeks, things were perfect. They lived at the lake house. Silas worked remotely handling organization business. Autumn prepared for the baby. They were happy. Actually happy. But happiness in the criminal world never lasts. IT started small. A phone call that made Silas's face go white. A meeting he had to attend in the city. A conversation that lasted hours. When he came back, he looked exhausted. Haunted. What happened? Autumn asked. Nothing. Just business. Silas. It's handled. Don't worry about it. But she did worry. Because over the next few days, more calls came. More meetings. More secrets. Silas was pulling away. And Autumn could feel it. On the night of their 1-month anniversary, she confronted him. What's going on? And don't tell me it's nothing. I can see it. You're barely sleeping. You barely eat. You're somewhere else. He was quiet for a long time. Then, Vincent wants me to do something. Something I don't want to do. What? There's a rival family. The Castellanos. They've been pushing into our territory. Taking our business. Vincent wants to send a message. A permanent one. Autumn's stomach dropped. He wants you to kill someone. Silas didn't deny it. And if you don't, then he questions my loyalty, my commitment, my usefulness. So you're going to do it. I don't have a choice. You always have a choice. No, I don't. Not anymore. Not since I married you. Not since I made you part of this world. He ran his hands through his hair. If I refuse, Vincent will see it as weakness. He'll move against me, against us. He'll take everything. Then we run, like we should have from the beginning. We can't. You're 8 months pregnant. Where would we go? How would we survive? And what happens when the baby comes? Do we live our lives hiding? Always looking over our shoulders. Tears streamed down Autumn's face. I don't want you to kill anyone. I can't be married to someone who's a murderer. His voice was flat. That's what I am, Autumn. That's what I've always been. I told you that from the beginning. But you said you wanted to change. You said you were tired of this life. Wanting to change and being able to change are two different things. She shook her head, backing away from him. No, this isn't you. The man I fell in love with, he wouldn't do this. The man you fell in love with doesn't exist. His voice broke. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But this is who I am. This is the life you chose when you married me. I chose you, not this. They're the same thing. The words hung between them, sharp and painful. Autumn wrapped her arms around her belly. When? Tomorrow night. And if you go through with this, if you do what Vincent wants, can you come back here and look me in the eyes? Can you hold this baby? Can you pretend to be the man I thought you were? I don't know, he whispered. And that was the moment Autumn realized the truth. She had married a man she loved. But she didn't know if she could live with the man he was. That night, they slept in separate rooms. Autumn lay awake, one hand on her belly, feeling the baby kick, wondering what the hell she was supposed to do. She loved Silas, truly loved him. But could she raise a child in this world? Could she teach her baby about right and wrong while being married to a man who killed people for a living? In the morning, Silas was gone. A note on the kitchen counter. I'm sorry. For everything. I'll be back tonight. We'll figure this out. I promise. S. Autumn crumpled the note in her fist. And made a decision. She called the only person she could think of. The diner owner from her old town. Mrs. Chun. A kind woman who'd always been good to her. Autumn, where have you been? Everyone's been so worried. I know. I'm sorry. Listen, I need help. Can you come get me? Please. Of course. Where are you? Autumn gave her the address. And Mrs. Chen? Don't tell anyone. Not anyone. Okay. Okay, sweetie. I'll be there in 2 hours. Autumn packed a bag. Just the essentials. Clothes. Money. Documents. She was leaving. She didn't know where she'd go. Didn't know how she'd survive. But she knew she couldn't stay. Not if it meant watching the man she loved turn into a monster. She left a note for Silas. I'm sorry. I can't watch you destroy yourself. I can't raise our child in this darkness. I love you, but love isn't enough. Not for this.
Goodbye.
She placed it on the bed, then walked out the door. Mrs. Chen arrived exactly 2 hours later. Autumn climbed into the car, tears streaming down her face. Thank you for coming. I didn't know who else to call. Of course, dear. You look exhausted. Let's get you somewhere safe. They drove for 30 minutes.
Then,
Mrs. Chen turned onto a road Autumn didn't recognize.
wait.
This isn't the way to town. I know. Something in her voice made Autumn's blood run cold. Mrs. Chen. The older woman's face hardened. I'm sorry, Autumn. I really am. But I have family too. And they threaten them.
What?
Who threatened them? Vincent Kane. He called me last week. Told me that if Silas's wife ever tried to run, I needed to bring her to him. Or else my grandchildren would disappear.
No.
Autumn reached for the door handle.
Locked.
No, please. I'm sorry. I have no choice. They pulled up to another warehouse. Different from the first. But just as empty. Just as terrifying. Vincent was waiting. Alone this time. Mrs. Chen drove away quickly, leaving Autumn standing there. 8 months pregnant. Terrified. Mrs. Kane, Vincent said pleasantly. Going somewhere? Autumn's heart was pounding so hard she thought it might burst. Stay away from me, she warned. Vincent laughed. Or what? You'll run?
Please.
Look at yourself. You can barely walk. It was true. She was exhausted. Swollen. The baby was due in less than a month. What do you want? She asked. To have a conversation. Without Silas around to play hero. About what?
About you.
About what a problem you've become. He circled her slowly. You see, I thought making you his wife would solve things. Thought it would bring him back in line. Make him focus on business again. But instead, he's more distracted than ever. That's not my fault, isn't it? Vincent stopped. He's soft now. Hesitant. He questions orders. He delays missions. All because he's thinking about you. About that baby. About his family. He spat the word like poison. You've made him weak. Or maybe I've made him human. Same thing. In this world, human gets you killed. Autumn lifted her chin. Then kill me. If that's what you want. If that's what it takes to make Silas focus on your precious empire. Do it. Vincent smiled. Oh, I'm not going to kill you. That would be too easy. Too obvious. Silas would never forgive me. He'd probably try to kill me in return. No, I have something better planned.
What?
I'm going to give you a choice. He pulled out his phone. Showed her a photo. Recognize this woman? Autumn's blood turned to ice. It was Mrs. Chen's daughter. With her 2 small children. What did you do? Nothing.
Yet.
But they're in my custody right now. Scared.
Confused.
Wondering why they were taken from their home. He put the phone away. Here's your choice, Mrs. Kane. You can leave.
Right now.
Disappear. Have your baby somewhere far away. Live your life free of all this darkness. And in exchange, I'll let these innocent people go. And if you stay, these people die. Slowly. Painfully. And it will be your fault. Your choice to hold on to a life that was never meant for someone like you. Tears poured down Autumn's face. You're a monster. I'm a businessman. I eliminate problems. And right now, you're the biggest problem I have. Silas will never forgive you for this. Silas will never know. As far as he's concerned, you left of your own free will. Decided you couldn't handle this life. He'll be heartbroken for a while. But he'll move on. He'll focus on the empire. Everything will go back to normal. You're wrong. He loves me. Maybe. But he loves this empire more. He built it. Bled for it. Killed for it. He's not going to throw it all away for one woman. No matter how much he thinks he cares. The words cut deep. Because part of Autumn feared they might be true. So, what's it going to be? Vincent asked. Your happiness? Or their lives? Autumn looked at the phone. At the terrified faces of Mrs. Chen's grandchildren. Innocent kids. Who'd done nothing wrong. She thought about Silas. About the man she loved. The man who'd saved her. Protected her. Loved her. She thought about her baby. Growing inside her. Innocent and pure. And she made the hardest choice of her life. I'll go, she whispered. Vincent smiled. Smart girl. But I want your word. Those people go free. Unharmed. Today. You have my word. The word of a criminal means nothing. The word of a businessman is everything. They'll be home by tonight. You'll be gone. Everyone wins. Everyone except her. Everyone except Silas. I need to leave him a message, she said.
A real one.
Not just a note. I need him to know. I need him to understand.
Fine.
What do you want to say? She pulled out her phone, typed with shaking fingers. My love, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. Not because I don't love you, but because I love you too much to watch you destroy yourself for me. You belong to that world. I don't. And trying to force us together will only end in tragedy.
Please don't look for me.
Please don't try to find me. Let me go.
For both our sakes.
Take care of yourself. Remember that I loved you. Always. She sent it, then handed her phone to Vincent. Satisfied. Very. He gestured to a car. This will take you wherever you want to go. There's money in the glove box. Enough for a new start. Disappear, Mrs. Kane. And don't ever come back. Autumn climbed into the car. As they drove away, she looked back at the warehouse and whispered one word. Goodbye. Autumn found herself in a small coastal town 3 states away. She rented a tiny apartment above a bookstore. Used the money Vincent gave her to buy necessities. Prepared for the baby alone. Every night, she cried herself to sleep. Missing Silas. Wondering if he was okay. Wondering if he hated her. But she didn't call. Didn't reach out. She'd made her choice. Now she had to live with it. On a Tuesday morning, 2 weeks after she left, the contraction started. The pain was intense. Radiating through her entire body. She called 911. Was rushed to the hospital. Alone. Terrified. Is there anyone we should call? The nurse asked. Husband? Family? No. Autumn gasped through the pain. There's no one. Labor lasted 14 hours. The longest, most painful 14 hours of her life. But when she heard that first cry, when they placed that tiny, perfect baby girl in her arms, everything else faded away. She's beautiful, the nurse said softly. Autumn looked down at her daughter. At the tiny face. The dark hair. The eyes that hadn't opened yet. She looks like her father, Autumn whispered. And burst into tears. She named her daughter Hope. Because that's what she represented. Hope for a better future. Hope for a life free from violence and darkness. Hope that love, somehow, could conquer all. Autumn spent the next week in the hospital. Learning to feed Hope. To change her. To soothe her cries. And every single moment, she thought about Silas. About how he would have held this baby. How he would have looked at her. How his whole face would have softened with love. He should be here, she whispered to Hope one night. Your father should be here. But he wasn't. And it was her fault. On the day she was discharged, Autumn wrapped Hope in a soft pink blanket, carried her out of the hospital, started walking toward her apartment, and froze. Because there, leaning against a car across the street, was a man. Tall. Dark hair. Strong shoulders. Silas. Their eyes met. And the world stopped. He pushed off the car, walked toward her slowly, like he was afraid she might disappear. Silas, she breathed. He stopped a few feet away. His eyes moved from her face to the bundle in her arms. Is that? Yes. Tears were already streaming down her face. Her name is Hope. Something broke in his expression. Raw emotion flooding his features. Can I? His voice cracked. Can I see her? Autumn moved closer, pulled back the blanket, And Silas looked down at his daughter for the first time. The change in him was immediate. His entire body seemed to tremble. Tears filled his eyes. His hand reached out, then pulled back. "She's perfect," he whispered. "She's absolutely perfect." "How did you find me?" Autumn asked. "I never stopped looking. The moment I got your message, the moment I came home and found you gone, I turned this entire country upside down searching for you." He looked up at her. "Why, Autumn? Why did you leave?" "Vincent. I know about Vincent." His voice turned hard. "I know what he did. What he threatened. Mrs. Chin confessed everything when I persuaded her to talk." "Is she okay?" "Her family? They're fine. They're protected now. Under my personal watch. But Vincent." His jaw clenched. "Vincent is no longer a problem." Autumn's eyes widened. "What did you do?" "What I should have done years ago. I removed him. Took control of the entire organization. Made it clear that anyone who threatens my family answers to me." He stepped closer. "I'm not the man I was before you left, Autumn. That night, the night you disappeared, I was supposed to kill someone. And I couldn't do it. I realized that you were right. That I was becoming a monster. So I made a different choice." "What choice?" "I chose you. I chose our family. I chose to become the man you believed I could be." He reached out, finally touched Hope's tiny hand. "I've spent the last 2 weeks restructuring everything. The organization is changing. We're moving away from violence, from the old ways. It won't happen overnight, but it's happening. Silas. I know it doesn't fix everything. I know I can't undo my past, but I can choose my future. Our future." He looked at her with such intensity.
"Come home. Please."
"Let me be the husband you deserve. Let me be the father our daughter needs." Autumn's heart was breaking and healing at the same time. "I'm scared," she admitted. "Scared that this world will destroy us. Scared that something will happen to you. To Hope. To all of us." "I'm scared too," he said honestly. "Every single day. But Autumn, I'd rather live one day with you, terrified but together, than a lifetime without you, safe but alone." She looked at him, really looked at him, and saw the truth in his eyes. The love, the commitment, the change. "Promise me," she said. "Promise me you'll fight for us. For this family. Every single day." "I promise." He cupped her face with his free hand. "With everything I am, everything I have. I promise." Hope chose that moment to wake up, her tiny eyes opening, looking around, and then she looked at Silas. Father and daughter locked eyes for the first time, and Silas absolutely melted. "Hi," he whispered. "Hi, sweet girl. I'm your dad, and I love you so much already." Hope made a small sound, almost like she understood. Autumn watched them, and felt her resolve crumble. "Okay," she whispered. Silas looked up sharply. "Okay.
Okay.
We'll come home. We'll try. We'll fight for this family." She touched his face. "But Silas, if things get bad again, if the darkness starts pulling you back, then you tell me. You fight for me. Like I'll fight for you. That's what marriage means. What family means. We don't run. We face it together." "Together," she agreed. He kissed her. Soft and sweet and full of promise. When they pulled apart, he looked at Hope again. "Can I hold her?" Autumn carefully transferred the baby into his arms. And watching Silas hold their daughter, seeing the wonder on his face, the pure, unfiltered love, Autumn knew they were going to be okay. It wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be perfect. But they would be together. And that was enough. The lake house was filled with light. Autumn stood in the kitchen, preparing dinner. Hope was in her swing nearby, cooing happily. The front door opened. Silas walked in, tired but smiling. "How are my girls?" he asked, kissing Autumn first, then bending to kiss Hope's forehead.
"Good."
"Long day. Very long, but productive." He loosened his tie. "I finalized the deal with the Castellanos. We're partners now instead of enemies. No violence. Just business." "That's good." "It is." He wrapped his arms around her from behind, rested his chin on her shoulder. Every day, we get a little bit closer to legitimate, a little bit further from the darkness. I'm proud of you, she said softly. I couldn't do it without you. They stood there, watching Hope, comfortable in the silence. I was thinking, Silas said. Maybe it's time we renewed our vows.
Did it right this time.
No guns, no threats, just us. Our family, our friends, celebrating our love. Autumn turned in his arms. Really? Really? I want to marry you again, Autumn. The right way. The way you deserved from the beginning. Tears filled her eyes. I'd like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He kissed her, deep and loving and full of everything they'd been through, everything they'd survived. When Hope started crying, they both laughed. Duty calls, Autumn said. Silas picked up their daughter, rocked her gently. Hey, it's okay, sweet girl. Daddy's got you. And watching this dangerous man become so gentle with their child, Autumn realized something. She'd given a wounded stranger water one cold October night. She'd never known he was the most dangerous man in the city. But more importantly, he'd never known that one act of kindness would save his soul. That a pregnant widow would teach him how to love. That a tiny baby would give him a reason to change. They were far from perfect. Their life was far from normal. But they were together. They were fighting. They were surviving. And in the end, that was all that mattered. 1 year later, on the anniversary of the night they met, Silas took Autumn back to the old farmhouse. It was empty now, abandoned. But they walked up to the door together. Hope in Silas's arms. Do you remember? He asked. How could I forget? I opened this door to a bleeding stranger. Thought I was making the biggest mistake of my life. Were you? She smiled.
No.
It was the best decision I ever made. Even with everything that happened, everything we went through, especially because of everything we went through, it made us who we are. She squeezed his free hand. I wouldn't change a single moment, not even the scary parts. Not even those. Because they led us here.
To this.
To us. Silas pulled her close.
Kissed the top of her head.
I love you, Autumn Kane. I love you too, Silas Kane. Hope babbled happily between them. And as they stood there, this unlikely family, born from danger and forged in love, the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. A new beginning. A second chance. A proof that sometimes the most dangerous people can become the most devoted. That sometimes one act of kindness can change everything. And that sometimes love really does conquer all. Even in the darkest places. Even against impossible odds. Even when the world says it can't be done. Love finds a way. And that is the story of how a pregnant widow gave a wounded stranger water. Never knowing he was the most dangerous man in the city. Never knowing he would become her husband. Her protector. Her love. Never knowing that one simple act of kindness would change both their lives forever. Because that's the thing about kindness.
About love.
About choosing to see the humanity in others even when the world tells you not to. It has power. More power than any weapon. Any threat. Any empire. The power to transform.
To heal. To save.
And sometimes, just sometimes, it's enough to turn a wolf into a man. A criminal into a father. A monster into a hero. All because someone was brave enough to open their door in the darkness. And offer a glass of water. Thank you for listening to this story. For staying with Autumn and Silas through every twist, every turn, every moment of fear and hope and love. If this story touched your heart, if it made you feel something, drop a comment and let me know. Tell me which moment hit you the hardest. Tell me what you think happened next in their lives. And remember, in your own life, you never know when one small act of kindness might change everything.
For you.
Or for someone else. So, open the door. Offer the water. Be brave enough to love. Even when it's scary. Even when it's dangerous. Even when the world says you shouldn't. Because that's where the magic happens. That's where the real story begins. Until next time, Keep believing in the power of love. And never forget, everyone deserves a second chance. Even wolves.